The phone vibrated at 1:07 a.m. Not rang, vibrated. That mattered. I watched it crawl across the nightstand like an insect that knew it would survive the slap. Her name lit the room. I let it buzz itself tired. The silence afterward felt earned. Earlier, the restaurant had been loud in the way crowds get when they think cruelty is entertainment, candlelight, wine rings. Her friends leaned in, teeth bright, eyes sharp. She smirked, small, efficient, and said it without heat. "You're not worth my time." The laugh that followed didn't belong to one mouth. It was a chorus. I measured my breath. I nodded. Paid the bill, stood, said the only honest thing left. "You're right." I walked out with my coat still warm from the chair. I didn't look back. I don't do exits twice. The phone vibrated again. I didn't answer. I lay there and replayed the moment her eyes flicked to the door before the laughter landed. That flicker had been the tell. Relief, not victory. She thought she'd cut a thread. She didn't realize it had already snapped. I knew before that night. Not in a cinematic way. No lipstick on collars. No midnight confessions. It arrived as static. A calendar shift she didn't explain. A new lock on her phone that wasn't for security but for ceremony. She started showering after work. She stopped arguing about small things. Peace is suspicious when it arrives unearned. I told myself stories because that's what loyalty does. It edits reality to keep the plot moving. But my mind kept its own ledger. Names repeated. Times overlapped. Her smile grew precise, practiced. I didn't confront. Confrontation is for people who still want a version of the truth that can be negotiated. I watched. I watched her laugh with me and flinch when her phone chimed. I watched the way she dressed when she said she was just meeting the girls. I watched her friends, how they watched me, the soft contempt of accomplices. I ordered the records. Location pings don't lie. They just whisper. A gym she never entered. A co-worker's building on weekends. I sat in my car across the street once, engine off, radio dark, and learned how easy it is to disappear when no one thinks you're looking. At home, I stayed kind. Predictable. The kind of man people don't prepare for. The night the results came in, it wasn't thunder. It was paperwork. Dates. Messages. A pattern tight enough to cut skin. I printed it. I didn't read it twice. I didn't need to. Knowing is a single-use event. She came home late. Again. I had set the table. 2 plates, no wine. She noticed the stack of papers and smiled like someone about to negotiate rent. "What's this?" I slid the top page toward her. I didn't sit. Her face didn't crumble. It drained. Shock isn't loud. It's hollow. She opened her mouth and closed it. That was the best part. "Say it," I said. She tried for indignation. Then tears. Then the truth. As if it had been waiting for permission. Names, months, the word mistake, deployed like a shield. I listened the way surgeons do, interested in anatomy, not pain. "I knew," I said. Not loud, accurate. She shook. She reached. I stepped back. Space is the last language. The restaurant had been her theater. This was mine. I didn't yell. I didn't threaten. I handed her a folder, emails forwarded to her parents, a timeline copied to a shared drive her friends used, a message scheduled to send at dawn. Truth has a way of traveling when you remove the brakes. Her knees folded. She begged with specificity. Promises refined by rehearsal. I let the silence do the work. At 12:58 a.m., I put on my coat. She followed me to the door like a shadow that had lost its owner. At 1:07, the phone vibrated. At 1:09, I answered. Her voice arrived broken, wet, suddenly small. Apologies stacked like sandbags against a flood that had already passed. She asked where I was. She said my name the way people say prayers they don't believe in anymore. "I paid the bill," I said. "I walked out." She cried harder. "Silence is cruel because it doesn't negotiate." "I won't be coming back," I said. "This is you learning what time costs." I ended the call before she could bargain. Morning came clean. The messages sent themselves. The world adjusted. I drank coffee and watched light find the floor like it had been doing all along. There's no victory parade for choosing yourself. Just a quiet room and the relief of not having to pretend. I didn't lose her that night. I stopped carrying her.